Hey everyone, it's Kirk McLean here, and you're watching Clay's Canucks Commentary.
Hey Canucks fans, and welcome to Clay's Canucks Commentary Live, presented to you by Van City Experts Real Estate. I'm your host, Clay, emo Canuck Clay, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take. It is Monday night, April the 28th, Election Day in Canada. Monday night, April the 28th, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take, like I said. And thank you for being here at the CCC, trying to do a news Canucks analysis that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. Hope you're doing well. And yeah, it's quite a busy time around here. Yesterday, we had a good stream, a big stream, and we had a chance to reflect on the tragedy at the Lapu Lapu Festival on Saturday night. And yeah, don't want to go over everything that I went over last night, but continue to pray for those that are deceased, the victims, and everyone affected. And we're starting to hear names of people of the names of the deceased and their stories, and those that are injured. And starting to see a lot of news stories, still making headlines around the world. So unfortunately, very, very sad turn of events here in Vancouver. Then, of course, on a national scale, we had our election. It looks like Mark Carney and the Liberals will form a minority government. And we're, as I see you guys talking in the chat, with some polls still to final votes and everything, but that's the way it looks like it's leaning right now. All right, friends, appreciate you guys being here. Moderators, do what you need to do to keep this a safe and respectful place. Members, that's Legends, Hall of Fame and franchise members, thank you for your support. And to everyone else, no matter where you're watching from, whether my beautiful neighborhood of Steveston and Richmond, in the city, Lower Mainland, province, country, continent, around the world, thank you for being here. You know that I know that you could be doing anything else, watching anyone else, getting ready for work, school, or bed, or all three. But the fact that you are here with me, you know how much I always appreciate you, and I never, ever take you for granted. So this is how you can get involved tonight. You can subscribe to the channel, get active in the chat section, get notified of my videos. You can like the video, like the fact that there's still playoff hockey. That's exciting. Like the fact that we haven't lost Rick Tocchet yet. I like the fact that we are together through all the ups and downs of life and building a great community. And I think yesterday, both my monthly group Zoom chat with Hall of Fame and Legends and the bigger and wider stream last night, I think it really spoke to how, yes, we are Canucks fans. That's at least most of us are. That's one thing that unites us. But more importantly, we are part of a community. And I really, really felt that last night. So I hope that you guys did as well. You can leave a donation, get the donation train out of the station. You can gift a membership. You can buy your own membership. You can use your monthly membership message. You can upgrade your membership. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, make sure you rate and review. I put this poll question up, and actually, as soon as I pressed go, I actually want to ask a different question. So this is fine. I said, which series is the most intriguing to you? And I'll talk about these series in a second. But let me do one more poll. This is what I should have asked, given the title of my stream. Which coach would you rather have? Okay, I think this is a good one. This is a good one. And this is obviously based on the news of today. This is a better poll question. So before I get into what I wanted to talk about is the coaching of the Vancouver Canucks, which is kind of what I talked about yesterday as well. Let's talk about the playoffs really quickly tonight. Only 2 games. And in the early game, crazy. It was crazy in that Tampa scored 2 goals in 11 seconds. And then Florida scored 2 goals in 11 seconds. And Florida winds up winning by a score of 4-2. So what's really challenging, or what's really interesting, is every away team in that series has won, right? Florida won the first 2 in Tampa, then Tampa won game 3 in Florida. and they look to be on their way to winning Game 4 in Florida. But Tampa scores 2 goals. Vasilevsky does not look good on either of them. 2 goals in 11 seconds plus an empty netter, and they win 4-2. So instead, you guys, this is how quickly, and this pains me because Tampa is my 3rd favorite team in the league behind Vancouver and then Winnipeg. Instead of going home with the series tied 2-2, and despite the away team winning all the games so far, if the Tampa had won, you have 2 of the final 3 games of the series at home. But instead of that, 2-2 going home, it's now 3-1, and they can't lose again. They can't lose again. And what a difference 11 seconds makes. So that was the earlier matchup. And then in the later matchup, it was the Dallas Stars breaking open a tight game. Well, actually, it wasn't. It was 3-0 Dallas. Then it was 3-2 Dallas because Colorado scored 2, and then Dallas scored another 3 more. So they, I always joke around that all playoff games are pivotal, but especially Game 5, especially when your series is tied 2-2. So Dallas takes a 3-2 series lead. So all 4 Western Conference series were deadlocked at 2-2, and deadlocked at 2-2. All 4 Eastern Conference series are 3-1. So I don't know if that means more upsets, more parity, tougher series, whatever it may be. So I did ask you which series is the most intriguing to you, and 54% of you said LA versus Edmonton, 25% of you said Dallas, Colorado, Montreal versus Washington, 12% of you, and then 8% of you, only 8% of you said Tampa versus Florida. Obviously, there's only 4 options in the poll, so I had to take half of the playoff series. I didn't put Winnipeg, St. Louis in there, although I like Winnipeg. I didn't put Vegas, Minnesota in there. I didn't put Toronto, Ottawa in there. That was the one I was debating with Montreal and Washington. And I definitely didn't put Carolina versus New Jersey in there because I don't think anyone would have voted for that. Yeah, exactly, Michael. I was just saying that thing about the 2 goals in 11 seconds for both teams. Let's talk, and I'm not going to have a late show tonight because, as you guys know, I've mentioned a couple of times, hence my very light streaming schedule this week, that this week and next week are very, very busy for me. I won't give you my whole soapbox speech about how anyone who claims that they're too busy, most of the time they're not too busy. They're just very poor time managers. However, as braggadocious as this may sound, I am good at time management. And so when I'm busy, I'm busy. And the next 2 weeks, all good stuff. I'm emceeing an event tomorrow. I'm organizing music for a big mass on Wednesday, both for our departing Archbishop. Then there's confirmation at my church, which I'm missing tomorrow because I'm emceeing the farewell dinner, but I'm organizing a lot of aspects of that. And then this Saturday, we have a big youth conference. And then the Saturday after that is First Communion at my church. So I'd say 5 really big things happening. And then the week after that, Gail and I accompany Kayla out to Quebec City for her nationals. Who knows if the Montreal Canadiens will still be playing hockey in mid-May. I kind of doubt it, but we'll see. Okay, here's the news of the day. The news of the day, actually, Irvin, if he's in here, he was the one who actually sent me a nice early text. Actually, Irvin, I don't think I even replied to it. So you're welcome for having you on the show last night. You were great. And secondly, thank you for being the first one to tell me about Mike Sullivan and the Pittsburgh Penguins parting ways. So I'm not sure if Irvin's in here tonight, but that's fine. So Irvin was the one who first told me about that. And he's there. Awesome. And no, you weren't waking me up. Actually, I like getting morning messages from you. That didn't sound right, but you know what I mean. So anytime you hear of a team, and Parker and I, by the way, shout out to the Double Duty gang. Anyone that was at Canucks After Dark and anyone that's here tonight, bless you. Thank you for pulling double duty. And like I said, tonight's going to be a shorter show. But I joked around that when you hear that a coach and a team have parted ways, it's never like Mike Sullivan going to the Pittsburgh Penguins and saying, hey, I was thinking of not coming back. And then Pittsburgh Penguins saying, yeah, that's exactly what we were thinking. Or it's not like the Penguins go to Mike Sullivan, hey, we were thinking about something. And then Sullivan goes, let me guess, you don't want me back. No, it's never like that. Even though they say it's a mutual parting the ways, one party had to initiate it. Whether it's Penguins saying, hey, Mike Sullivan, you've been great, but we don't want to say we fired you, so we're going to kind of let you go. But we'll say it's mutual. Or Mike Sullivan's technically resigning, doesn't want to be there anymore, but he doesn't want to use the resign, so they use mutual party. Doesn't matter. A great statement from Pittsburgh. Sullivan did great there, but now he is looking for a new job. And he does have connections to Vancouver. You might remember that he was the assistant coach when John Tortorella decided to attack the Calgary Flames dressing room in January of 2014. So Tortorella was suspended for 6 games. So Mike Sullivan was the assistant coach at the time, became the head coach. I think he was the one that was holding Tortorella back in the locker room as well, in the hallway. So Sullivan proceeded to win his first game against Edmonton 2-1, then lost the next game, then won the next third game, then lost the next 3. So I believe Sullivan went 2-4. I believe Sullivan went 2-4 in his 6-game stint. Regardless, Tortorella came back, and then the Canucks season fell off the rails, which is really too bad actually, because they were actually in a playoff spot when that incident took place. All to say, Sullivan has connection to Vancouver, albeit 1 year as John Tortorella's assistant. Also, he has a connection to Jim Rutherford and Patrick Allvin, being in Pittsburgh for so long. And we've talked ad nauseum about all the Pittsburgh connections to Rutherford and Allvin. But even though you draw those, connect those dots or draw those lines or whatever analogy you want to use, yeah, I think the New York job is staring at him right in the face. And as I mentioned, I heard from Elliot Friedman that the Boston job is probably Sullivan's number 2 preferred destination, because I believe he is Charlie McAvoy's father-in-law. So that's a pretty tough that's a pretty tough connection to just simply ignore. So the Rangers firing Laviolette. I can never say that guy's name. Laviolette. Peter Laviolette. Yeah, that's how you say it. By firing Laviolette, and the Rangers having an equally disappointing season as the Canucks, that is probably the prime spot for anyone. And they're going to pay a lot. That money's not an issue. And there's a lot of good players on that roster. They just had a really bad year. So, yeah, as some of you have said in the comments, it's likely, I don't know, likely Sullivan will want to go to the Rangers. We don't know that for sure. No one has said that for sure, but I think that's the way it will likely go. Now, when it comes to Rick Tocchet, and I know we talked about Rick Tocchet yesterday, and we talked about this $500,000 gap, whether it's 4 to 4.5 or 4.5 to 5 or 5 to 5.5, which would seem like a lot. So it's funny. Park and I were talking about the fact that if the Canucks don't want to pay Tocchet X amount and they're $500 off, then for sure they're not going to want to pay a guy like Mike Sullivan even more than that. Although you got to look at the resume, and Sullivan has 2 cups and Tocchet doesn't. So do you pay that extra $1 or $2 million a year for a guy for the pedigree of a guy who's won Stanley Cups before? Again, despite the connection to Rutherford and Allvin, despite the connection to Vancouver, granted 11 years ago, it's like less likely that Mike Sullivan comes here. So I know I titled this live stream, "Could Mike Sullivan be the next Canucks coach?" I think it sounds like from the comments and from what you guys are saying, the answer is likely a resounding no. Which brings us back to Rick Tocchet. Now, some new news that I didn't talk about yesterday is from sources like Elliot Friedman. And you guys know that of the national guys, I think Elliot Friedman is the best. And from the local guys, I think Rick Dhaliwal is the best. I don't think they're clickbaity. I think they really try and source out their stories and provide good, accurate reporting. So when Friedman is on Dollywall's show, it's the best of both worlds, at least for me, because I really like and respect both of those guys. What Elliot Friedman said on that show was a reiteration of what he said on his 32 Thoughts podcast, is that, remember we made this thing about Rick Tocchet flying back on Thursday night. Apparently he met with the Canucks on Friday, no deal yet. And among Tocchet's concerns or sticking points or contentions, issues, whatever you want to call it, is lack of a practice facility and Quinn Hughes' future and the direction of the club in those three. I don't know in that order, but those three things. And we don't have to rehash all of them because we talked about them extensively on Canucks After Dark. But the lack of a practice facility, Jim Rutherford even joked about that at the year-end media availability. He says, hopefully it gets done before, well, I'm still alive, ha, ha, ha. And then everyone just kind of laughed along with them. But that's not good when your president's laughing like that, because it doesn't sound like they're close anywhere. So there's that. Although Rick Tocchet has to know that even if they acquire or break ground on a practice facility, it's not going to be ready for a little bit. So there's that. There's the Quinn Hughes issue. What's he going to do after the final 2 years? And that's, I think, a big issue and one that's going to be on all Canucks fans' minds going forward. And then what's the overall direction of the team, which is tied very closely to the Quinn Hughes issue. So if those are some of the issues that are holding up a negotiation, then I think they can solve the Quinn Hughes one quickly by simply talking to him. I think they can, the direction of the team kind of goes hand in hand with that. But I think Rick Tocchet also has to know that the practice facility issue is not one that's going to be remedied right away. And is that the hill that he wants to die on? Is that going to be the biggest stumbling block? So I think that's an interesting facet of the story to follow. Well, pretty good. 43 of you voted, and it's pretty close, 55 to 44%, because YouTube rounds down. So a slight majority preferring Rick Tocchet. Maybe that's a familiarity. Maybe that's voting knowing that you don't think Sullivan is coming here anyway. So let me do a Mitchell sponsor read. Then I'll go for another 15 minutes or so. I'll go to 11:45, 11:50, a quick 35-minute show tonight. But I'd love your thoughts on Tocchet, on Sullivan, on the Canucks, on coaching, whatever it may be. So let's start off by thanking my primary sponsor, and that's Jason Lim of Van City Experts. Thank you to my channel sponsor, Jason Lim of Van City Experts Real Estate. At Van City Experts, their experience, knowledge, and expertise can serve you well in navigating through the real estate market and will help you to choose the best home or condo in the greater Vancouver area that best suits your and your family's needs. Thank you to my secondary sponsor, Coach Patrick Liu, weight loss coach. You can check him out at coachpatrickliu.com/clay and receive a free 5-day workout when you sign up. Thank you to Gassy Jack Art, maker of that fine artwork, and thank you to Vessi Footwear. Use the link tinyurl.com/VessiClay and receive a free pair of socks of your next purchase of Vessi shoes. Thanks to everyone who's purchased Canuck Clay merch. You can do so at canuckclay.threadless.com. You can see on the screen, that's my CCC front logo. And then I'm actually wearing CCC side logo. So that's one of the two designs. The other one is the GLCPC with the thumbs up. So that's another way you can support me. I appreciate you that way. Ways that you can get involved tonight and support me. You can subscribe to the channel. You can like the video. You can be the first to get the donation train out of the station. Make sure we don't get shut out tonight. You can gift a membership. You can buy your own membership. You can upgrade your own membership. You can use your monthly membership message. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, make sure you rate and review. And as a reminder, my shows this week, did Canucks After Dark earlier today, did this show, not doing a show tomorrow night because I'm emceeing that big farewell event. I do not know what time I'll get home, especially given cleanup. Wednesday, I'll do CCC at 11 p.m. And then Thursday, I will not be doing a show. So only one more show this week, and that is Wednesday. Thursday night, got to prepare for the big youth rally that is taking place on Friday and Saturday. And members, as soon as I'm done this show, another reason why I want to end it a bit earlier is I will record my members Ask Me Anything that I forgot to do last night. So I will record that, and that will be up by the time all you members wake up tomorrow morning. All right, let's do 10 to 15 minutes of questions, and we will start right here. Do we still have a private team charter plane? That's a good question. I don't know. I think so. But I do not know for sure. Rome thinks so. So Clay and Aquilini have the same job. You'll say, no, I don't. I work for the Catholic Church. You're thinking of my primary sponsor, Jason Lim, who is with Van City Experts Real Estate. Whoops, right here. Right there. When Rutherford said they talked to multiple rinks with no deal for practice facilities, do you think they approached UBC about this too? I'm sure. Actually, I don't know for sure. You think they would though, because that's one of the places where they do go regularly, and it's relatively close to downtown, 15, 20 minutes out. So maybe I would tend to think so, but I don't know how many they spoke to for sure, but you think that they'd go to one where at least they're familiar with. Hey, RSA, should Vancouver trade for big pieces like Marner, Ehlers, and others? Well, Nick Ehlers is a free agent, and Marner is a free agent, so technically you shouldn't trade for them. You just throw them a lot of money. But I think your question, RSA, is more about should they go after these guys. I see Ehlers as a good replacement for Besser. They're going to make relatively the same amount of money. I don't think the Canucks have enough firepower, assets, money, because he's a UFA, to go after Marner. I still think Marner resigns in Toronto. No problem, but that's not my company. What would hurt more, keeping our trade chips or selling the farm for a 2C? I think what would hurt more would be selling the farm. I really do. You never know with this, right? When you trade a bunch of assets for a key player, is that key player going to stay healthy? But more importantly, is he going to be the impact player that you want to be? I guess it depends who we're talking to. Like Ryan O'Reilly is a 2C over the hill, but if we get a younger 2C in here, but it's going to be very expensive. And I guess that's what you're getting at with your question. I still kind of hold out hopes that Hedl pans out, but is he better as a winger or a 3C and not your 2C? And of course, this is with the big presumption that Petey is still your number one center. He certainly paid like it, so he should be. Yeah, exactly. TLC, Marner's gonna be too much money. Is hope a real plan? No. Have I been using that word a lot? Well, I meant in general. And if you trade for them early, you can resign them before anyone else. You don't have to give them. Oh, I see what you're saying. So trade for their rights before they become a free agent. Is that what you mean? But then no one does that because you're kind of giving away assets for a guy that you could go after in free agency anyways. I know what you're talking about. I think Marner's going to be too expensive, both either money or assets, but I think Ehlers might be someone to go after. Marner's going to be expensive. If you guys don't like the PD and he's 11.6, you ain't going to like Marner. Very good. Marner's contract. Leave Tocchet. You mean keep him here? Keep him here? Some people are saying the Canucks should make an agreement with the PWHL for the practice facility, but I think we need to keep the PWHL as far away from the Canucks and Aquilini as possible. No comment, Justin. Don't want to get in trouble. Hope is arguably a better plan than embracing the hard. How about embracing the hope? I am surprised that it's 3-1, but it was 3 minutes away from being 2-2, Natty. What do you think about the teams that didn't make the cross? What do you think about the other coaches? How do they fill the coaching vacancy? Teams that didn't make the playoffs? Yeah, it's a coaching carousel. Like, I think Laviolette is going to be in demand. Tocchet will be if he leaves. I think, obviously, Mike Sullivan is going to be in demand. Not sure about the guys, fired from the lesser teams, but there's 3 guys definitely that I can't predict where anyone's going to go other than Sullivan likely to the Rangers. Yeah, the last I saw, no, it was a liberal minority, not a liberal conservative minority. But I hear what you're saying is, yes, in that order. Fillmore uses his monthly membership message. Let's give him some love. Hey, Fillmore, I had work last night, so I wasn't able to watch. I'm grateful to everyone up there in the lower mainland that I spoke to, that everyone is safe. Yes, I appreciate you reaching out. And yeah, I spent the first 15 minutes of last night's show addressing it. But thank you, Fillmore, for your kind messages. Let's give Fillmore some love in the chat for being a member for 27 months. Heard you say that Sullivan has 2 cups and Tocchet doesn't have any. Wrong. He has 2 as an assistant coach. Thank you for that clarification. The fact of the matter is Vancouver played well under the potential this season for various reasons. Played well under their potential. Yes, not they played well under their potential. They play well under their potential. Yeah, it was a disastrous season for sure. For sure. Oh, I haven't been saying that, but it seems like we're betting on a lot of unknowns. That is true. That is true. If you trade for Wright, you have to have that guarantee that the player will sign with you. Examples Gensel last offseason. Yeah, for sure. Otherwise, you're blowing a bunch of assets for nothing. But I do get where you can then negotiate for an 8th year as opposed to 7 years. But it's very rare. It's very rare. Marner would be awesome but expensive. Dean Evison will stay. Yes. I'm not avoiding the politics one because I don't like talking politics. Well, actually, I don't like talking politics, but you guys can read those things, but I don't have to address it here tonight. I'm trying to wrap up in the next 5 minutes anyways. It's possible to talk it and the Canucks come to terms over the weekend and are just not announced. Yeah, I'm happy. That's a really good point, actually, because, given the election today and the tragedy on Saturday at the Lapu Lapu Festival, there is a world where they did agree to terms and they're going to announce it first thing tomorrow morning. I would love it. Oh, maybe I should wake up early tomorrow morning. I would love it if I woke up to news of a Rick Tocchet extension. Hey, Simon, it's too hard for me to predict all of these because I'm not convinced that I think Gerard Gallant might get a look somewhere. So I can throw out a couple names, but and I know Coach Rob loves Jay Woodcroft. How many of the AHL call-ups this season do you think could be full-timers going forward? Yeah, if Irvin, if you're not asking about necessarily next season, but ultimately full-timers, Atu Ratu, Lekaramaki, DPD almost already is, and Linus Carlson I was very impressed with. Not sure about Sasson, Baines, but those are ones that I think will be ultimately full-timers. Linus Carlson could be a bottom 6 guy for sure. Lekaramaki could be a middle 6. And DPD will be a full-timer. And who's the 4th one I said? Who did I say? And Aturatu. I think maybe not next year, but in the next couple of years, he'll be a full-timer as well. Abbotsford coach may have earned a promotion. Yeah, we're talking about the Canucks After Dark. Malhotra has plied his trade in the HL for sure, and as assistant coaches for sure. Right now, who's my playoff MVP right now? Ooh, that's a great question. Yeah, I don't even know who's leading the NHL in playoffs right now. Playoff scoring. I'm not saying that that's necessarily going to be the MVP, and I'm thinking it's got to be a guy from the East because all the West series are tied basically. Yeah, McDavid, Kempe, Draisaitl all have 9 points. Bouchard 7, Fowler 8. I'm not sure if this includes tonight. That's a good point. I don't know who my MVP is. Like even in Carolina, the goaltending they split Anderson and Kochetkov. I don't have one right now. If Edmonton keeps up their scoring pace, I could see it being McDavid or Draisaitl. I could see that, but early to tell. Good question. Good question. You going to be on Russell's stream tomorrow? No, not tomorrow, because I am emceeing an event, Irvin. I'm not sure why you're asking specifically about tomorrow, but no. He did invite me. I should get back to him. He did invite me to a future stream, but it won't be tomorrow for sure. Jay is the best, Jay Woodcroft. Tocchet has to come back because that girl that rubbed his head this season was promising more head rubs, which will result in more wins. Yes. Is it Sarah? What's her name? Yeah, I do follow her. We follow each other on, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who follows who, but I did see that on X for sure. DPD, Bob Hartley, can't stand the guy. New POTUS, new PM, new Pope, world is changing. Yeah, Junior is pretty much on the big club already, right? Canucks won't likely get in the Sullivan sweepstakes, but they could definitely get him in the door the way Blues did with Monty, because he has been. Yeah, no, for sure, Robbie. Not sure if you heard me talked about that extensively at the top of this stream, but that's fair. Sasson has potential, great speed. I still think the Jets will win, whether it's in 6 or 7, for sure. It's been a wild ride watching games with Russ in the background. Sweet. Yeah, I haven't watched a lot of playoff hockey, so I haven't checked out Russell's streams just yet. I can't talk about other teams, Simon, but I do think the Canucks will trade their first round pick. I really do. Oh, Neil Zaman. I don't see him as a full-time NHLer, so Abbotsford. Sasson could steal a spot like Gaudette. That's fair. Oh, Fiala. Yeah, he's doing well. He's doing well in LA for sure. No problem. Hi, Shannon. Nice to see you. I'm actually having a short show anyways, but I appreciate you saying hi. Nice to see you. Kempe's been great. Kaprizov has been great. Bush has been great. Kuzi, he's good. I wouldn't say great. Oh, sorry, Swervin Irvin. I got too, got selfish. Thought everything was about me. Anderson was hurt last game. That's why Kochetkov played. That made sense, Ian. Thank you. If Kaprizov can put up a game tomorrow, he's definitely topping that list. Yeah. But remember, they don't give out the MVP after one round. But I hear what you're saying. Kempe. Girl needs to rub Tocchet's head more often. Yeah, it was a cute video. Playoff MVP is up for debate, but I can tell you it's not the refs or Jim Hillier. Yeah, we'll see if that comes back to bite them for sure. Yep, there's a 3-way tie up for 9 points right now, for sure. Jim Hillier decisions are the worst decisions by a Jim since betting. Very good. Go Panthers. Is Ehlers too expensive? I wouldn't say too expensive, but the Canucks can only afford one guy of that $7-8 million, whatever he's going to make. Russell Sarah runs Nothing is Perfect. Really good YouTube channel, and he streams live. He streamed every Canucks game live, like during the game. Doesn't show footage, but talks about the game, has guests during intermission, and also and has been covering playoff games as well. So Nothing is Perfect is his channel. If Kings lose round one, would you say that coach challenge was the turning point? Yep, absolutely, because that went from 4-3 to 4-4, right? LA could have dominated Oilers 4 straight if there had been some questionable decisions by Hillier. Wasn't Tocchet crazy in a past life? Well, he was a reckless player, but a good player. And there was, I don't know, say betting scandal, but there are betting allegations against him over a decade ago. Ehlers would cost less than Besser. I agree. 2 players for the price of Ehlers. That's and look at what Sherwood has done. A great example. That's a good point, Irvin. You can find impactful players that make the same amount of money but have more impact. Same amount of money combined. Anyone mentioned that boneheaded play with Byfield with 40 seconds left? No, I didn't see the boneheaded play. Oh, it's a 0 in the nothing for Nothing is Perfect. Thank you for that clarification. 7-year, $42 million contract, so he could cost a lot. Talking about Sullivan? Oh, Ehlers. Talking about Nick Ehlers. I'm praying that the Oilers take the Kings out. The only reason I choose LA to win is because of their goalie. Oh, you like the goalie, Kemper? Darcy Kemper. Is the shine off Byfield? Could he get traded? I don't know. I thought he's had a really good season, actually. I do like Gerard Gallant as well. Okay, friends, I'm going to wrap up here only because I got a bit to do, including recording my members AMA. And we just did the show with Parker. So shout out to everyone who is part of the Double Duty Gang. I appreciate your loyalty. I appreciate you sticking with me. And I try and make my Monday show at least a little bit different than the Monday night show. I think when everything settles after the middle of May, once I get back, finish all my crazy work and church commitments, and I get back from that trip, I'm likely going to go Sunday, Wednesday. I'm going to do 2 shows a week. I think that will feel about right. And it feels like not enough. I can add a third one, but Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday's kind of like my home base. And then Wednesday is halfway through the week. Tuesday, I always got to cut short because of church. And then Monday, especially on Canucks After Darks weeks, I never get tired. I'm tireless. No, it's not that, but it got to make sense if there's not a lot of content over the summer. And I want to do some unique things on my channel, but I can't really start those until the end of May. So for the next little bit, we'll kind of just take it as it comes, or we'll kind of see what week to week. Sounds like I'm injured. We'll go week to week with my shows. And then once I think the end of May, the start of June starts, I'll commit to at least doing twice a week. likely Sunday and Wednesday. All right, friends. Thanks for everyone. Thanks to all of you for being here. It's been a interesting couple of days for sure, with the Saturday festival tragedy, and then of course the election today, and then who knows, maybe a Tocchet announcement sometime this week, as early as tomorrow. We can always hope for good things. Hope, Irvin, still a man of hope. All right, friends, thanks for being here. Moderators, thank you for keeping this a safe and respectful place. Thank you to legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Line Change, legendary Carol Bovenlander. Yes, Carol is back as a legend, and legendary Andrew Chang, and to Hall of Fame and franchise members as well. Thanks for all of your support, and thanks to all of you for watching, liking, and subscribing. On the way out, like the video, subscribe. You can leave a late donation. Thanks to my sponsor, Van City Experts Real Estate. Thanks to my sponsor, Coach Patrick Lou, weight loss coach. And thanks to Fillmore Wax for using his monthly membership message, proclaiming his loyalty to the CCC for 27 months. So again, my next show is not until Wednesday, but members, you will have an Ask Me Anything in about half an hour if you're going to wait up for it. Otherwise, you'll see it in your inbox, or you'll see it on my channel first thing tomorrow morning. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wish me luck on my emceeing gig tomorrow night. And I will see you all on Wednesday night right here for the CCC. Thanks, everyone. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. By the way, do you know how to get a good price on a sled? How do you get a good price on a sled? You have to bargain. You have to bargain. God bless, and go Canucks go. Booyah.